Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Chiswick Coffee Break and my second episode. And today I'm very pleased to welcome Torin Douglas as my guest. To give you a little bit background about Torin, he's one of the best known Chiswick personalities and a real Chiswick supporter. Torin was a BBC media correspondent for 24 years and has reported on media issues for over 40 years. He now speaks, writes, and chairs events for a range of media arts and academic organizations. He's awarded an MBE in 2013 for services to the community in Chiswick, which is fantastic. He's director for the Chiswick Book Festival, instrumental in making the highly popular Bedford Park Festival coming very soon, and is now involved in something called Exploring Chiswick and the wonderful walks and trails mapped out around Chiswick. And a big hello to you, Torin. Thank you very much for coming today.
Hello, Jeannie, and thank you very much for asking me.
Brilliant. So I know you're very passionate about Chiswick, but what makes you want to be so involved as you are?
Well, it started gradually. Carol and I have lived here for 40 years. We brought our family up here. And it's all started for me, I think, St. Michael and All Angels Church. Our daughter was in the choir there and was involved in musicals there, and I got involved in the festival. And gradually, it's grown my involvement and widened since then. So as part of the Bedford Park Festival, which was hugely important because it actually helped save Bedford Park from being knocked down by developers in 1967. And I think we've all been building on the great work that was done then, and we're doing our best to enhance Chiswick in other ways. So what happened was that Father Kevin and I were talking about the Bedford Park Festival. We always used to have a book event, and we said, well, it can't be that difficult to run a book festival, can it? The authors will want to sell their books. We've got a church here, we've got a hall here. Can't be that hard. Of course, it's slightly harder than it looks. But that's where it started. And that enabled us to bring together the bits of Chiswick that weren't really joined up and weren't really connected. You had Bedford Park in the north, you had Grove Park in the south, you know, the great big road going right through the middle. And one of the things we've been able to do by having venues like Chiswick House and Arts Ed is to bring Chiswick back together. And I think that's worked for everybody.
No, I think so. It definitely has. Bedford Park Festival is coming. It's coming next month, which is very exciting. Sadly, without Green Days, but we understand the reasons why. Still, it's fantastic to have a live event, and community is really supportive of it, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, last year we had to do it digitally, and I thought we did an amazing job. And thanks to you, Jeannie, as well, because you managed to do an online craft fair. We got 40 different craft exhibitors. Chiswick Buzz managed to animate it and make it look online as though we got a real green. And that was fantastic. We had Jeremy Vine opening it. We had Sophie Ellis-Bextor singing at it. And it felt like a proper festival, given the limitations that we had. But of course, it's much better that everybody can meet together. And even though we can't do Green Days, simply because that would be forcing lots and lots of people together and social distancing would be quite hard. And we can't really take the risk of investing in all those marquees and sound systems because there would be no guarantee it could happen. So we parked Green Days, but we're having all the other events, lots of concerts, lots of talks and so on. We're starting with the fancy dress. The children's fancy dress usually takes place on Green Days. We're going to have it outside the church this year, but that at least will make people feel that it's the start of a proper Bedford Park Festival.
Absolutely. You have some big names too there going to be doing some events at the festival too, don't you?
That's right. So we're delighted that we've got Phyllis Logan, who everybody knows from Downton Abbey, and older people will remember from Lovejoy when she played Lady Jane. So she was upstairs for that. She's downstairs as the housekeeper in Downton. She's going to be doing an evening with at the Chiswick Playhouse. She's just about to start filming the new Downton Abbey film, which has lots of other Chiswick actors in. So she's there. We've got Rosemary Ash, who's a West End star, and she's doing her new show about Dora Bryan. We've got Millie Forrest, soprano, who started at the age of 8 in St. Michael and All Angels, is now gone professional and is appearing in all sorts of places. And we'll have the gardens, and we'll have the art exhibition and the photo exhibition and all the usual events.
Fantastic. Can you remind me of the dates, please?
So that's June the 12th until June the 27th, I think it is, that final Sunday. And it will end with the Open Gardens, which again is a great event in Chiswick. A dozen really beautiful gardens that people can walk around. Last year we did it online through photos and videos. This year people will be able to go around in person. I think people are really looking forward to that.
Yeah, fantastic. And the book festival, Chiswick Book Festival is coming in September, which is very exciting. Can you give us a few hints?
Yes, we certainly hope that life is going to be more relaxed by then. We'll be able to allow a lot more people into all the venues and so on. So it'll take place at St Michael and All Angels in the church and in the hall as usual. We're hoping for other venues such as Arts Ed, but that will depend on their rules at that stage. But we know that we're going to be starting in Chiswick House as usual. And our first event is going to be about the Mitfords in Chiswick and the pursuit of love, inspired by the BBC serialisation, which is happening or starting this Sunday. Nancy Mitford wrote The Pursuit of Love. It was just after she'd been living in Chiswick for 3 or 4 years down at Strand on the Green. Her sister, Deborah, became the Duchess of Devonshire, and they owned Chiswick House. So there are lots of Chiswick connections, and that should be a terrific event in September.
Brilliant. And both the Bedford Park Festival and the Chiswick Book Festival, they support charities, don't they?
Absolutely. So the Bedford Park Festival supports St Michael and All Angels and its charities, and that's the Upper Room, it's Water Harvest, and it's West London Welcome. The Chiswick Book Festival has its own reading-related charities, and that's the Felix Project. We're producing recipes through the wonderful cookbook team who set up the Cookbook Festival recently and are now running the Chiswick market in a couple of weeks' time. So that's one of the charities. Another is Interact Stroke Support, which was Richard Braz's charity, and they provide actors who read to stroke patients. And then Doorstep Library, who bring the magic of reading into disadvantaged homes. So great charities there. And we're very lucky that we're supported by so many great local businesses, because we don't take public money. We use the ticket money and the sponsorship money, and then anything we have left over goes to charity.
Fantastic. And we could always use more. So anybody interested, please get in touch with Torin. And during lockdown, you started something called Exploring Chiswick, which is fantastic. The wonderful trails, arch trails and everything around Chiswick. So even though that was during lockdown and that was a lifesaver for many, it's carrying on. So tell me a little bit about how that happened.
Yes, it suddenly occurred to me when the government in January said, please stay local and stay safe, but still take exercise, that actually we have these wonderful arts trails that were slightly neglected. So they were printed trails, one from the Chiswick timeline of art and maps, which is the wonderful mural at Turnham Green Tube Station. That had an art trail of all the artworks on there, displayed on there. And at the same time, we did a writer's trail, 21 great authors who are on the Chiswick timeline of writers and books, which is an online reference point. And they existed, but not many people realized, and I hadn't really thought, that actually they're all there on your phone. You could download them and you could walk around with them, or if you were staying in and staying safe, you could search them on your computer. And in addition to those two, there's one called In Jordan Footsteps, which was created by the Brentford and Chiswick Local History Society and Hogarth's House and Val Bott. And that's a beautiful tour of some of the historic places around by the river. So we got those out there and we publicised it and on social media, there's a web page, and we've had a huge response. And so St Nicholas Church have been created more about their own history. Other churches and other organisations have been doing the same. And there's a daily tweet, so people can follow that. We've been through the maps, we've been through the artworks, we've now been through the writers on the Writers' Trail. And we're now on the buildings, because it so happened that there's a new book out called Chiswick in 50 Buildings, brilliantly timed for exploring Chiswick. And so we're now working our way through those on the tweets.
Fantastic. You're involved in so much, Torin. It's fantastic. But one last question. What do you do to relax?
I have to say, I don't relax a huge amount. I do enjoy what I do, and I get a lot of energy and pleasure out of that. I like doing crosswords. I like listening to cricket on the radio. The place I really relax is in our little cottage in Normandy. We can't go at the moment because of all the restrictions, but I was really surprised actually on the lunchtime news today to see live from Carteret, which is where our cottage is, because there is now a fishing dispute between France and Jersey, and it may be that we're never allowed back, but we're really looking forward to being allowed to go back, I must say.
Oh, I hope that's not true. I hope you're allowed back very soon. That would be awful. Well, that's the end of our time, and I thank you so much, Torin, for being my guest today. So interesting. I think we could talk for ages, but thank you very much for being here today.
Thanks, Jeannie, and thanks for all you do for the Chiswick community as well, bringing all the businesses together. It's very important.
It's my pleasure. I love Chiswick, so why not? That's it. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and look forward to seeing you at the next Chiswick Coffee Break.